Hello again, and you're very welcome to this video about a product that I have brought on a journey with me, and you may have seen it in my social media posts on the other platforms and here. I love introducing you to products that I stock in the Aquarian Health Store, my store of almost 21 years, and describe the brands that we stock and why we stock them and why we love them. And on this journey I traveled to Africa, and for this product review I am in Egypt. It's wonderful. It's my first time in Egypt. It's really beautiful to see. Obviously I am not seeing all of it, but the place I'm in is absolutely gorgeous, and you know, as a typical Aquarian, I love the travel adventure, and you will also see on my channel that I post about being a safe solo traveler. So in other videos, if you'd like to check them out, there are some tips on how to do that too. But back to the product that I'm reviewing today, and it's actually an Irish company. It's called Atlantic Aromatics. And I brought the organic rose water with me, and maybe I'll give you a little bit of background about rose water and rose and so on and so forth before we go into the actual product itself. So the rose is, in this case, the Rosa Damascena. It's a very particular type of rose. There are thousands of varieties of roses, and you may know many of garden roses or roses that you can buy maybe in florists and so on and so forth. But the rose, one of the roses with real medicinal properties, is Rosa Damascena, or the Damascena rose, and it originates, from what we can tell, in Bulgaria. It is traditionally also grown in Turkey, Iran, Azerbaijan, Afghanistan, and a lot of Middle Eastern countries. And rose petals and rose water are very much part of the everyday culture of many of those regions. And the reason I'm very passionate about rose and so on is because I have gone to organic rose harvests in Turkey 4 times. So I experienced the harvest and the distillation process of rose. Rose harvest is for the most part controlled by the respective governments, so as not to exploit the plants. And the rose gardens, as they're called, are typically a very sandy ground, and they are in mountainous regions, so it's kind of a dryish, misty rain, not too hot, not too cold. Mind you, it can be quite cold and it can be quite hot as well in those regions, but it's a particular climate where these roses do very, very well. The Damascena rose, for particularly, let's talk about the organic cultivation, are grown in those gardens without the use of pesticides or weed killers. The organic farmers use traditional ways of keeping the plants pest-free, which is quite a challenge because some creatures love roses and there could be also rust on them, so they're very, very close and meticulous in inspecting their plants. And I remember, I think one of the one of the things the farmers did was plant garlic and onions between the rose bushes. That would be something that repels some of the insects that love rose. They spray them with a particular mineral. I only was told the Turkish name at the time. I think it was göktaş. I have not been able to figure out what it is exactly. And also Then there was ladybugs, which is very beneficial in taking over from ants, I think. Now, don't quote me on it, but I remember having this information given while we were there harvesting with the local farmers in Anatolia, central Anatolia, around Isparta region of Turkey. We get up at 4 or 5 a.m. The roses, the head of the rose bush is hand plucked, if you like, and then one by one it has to be picked that early in the morning, as when the day becomes hotter, the rose opens and releases its essential oil, which is ultimately what we are looking for, into the ether. So the harvest has to be done for that day before the sun comes up and it gets too warm. Typically, I think a family would harvest about 20 kilos of petals a day. At the time, there was a pay, when it is brought to the distillery, there was a pay of €1 per kilo of petals. The cost of pure Rosa Damascena essential oil is about, again, I don't know nowadays, but say then in comparison, was €10,000 per litre, and you will require 1 ton of petals to make 1 litre of pure essential oil. It is actually traded more expensive than gold, and such a precious commodity, and therefore I guess the governments regulate the harvest. And again, certainly with certified organic product, everything has to be documented, and there's a lot of paperwork involved. So next time you go to your local independent store, health store, or an organic store, and look at rose oil, first of all, from the price, you will surely know whether it's true, pure Rosa Damascena essential oil or not. Look out for the Latin name on the bottle, which is Rosa Damascena. Look out for how it has been extracted. Typically, it's a steam distillation where we have water fed through this alembic, like a copper distill, many of you might know, similar as in alcohol distillation. And so then the steam is fed through the plant material, and it is actually fed through that first water that cools down then and becomes rose water, is fed through it again. I think the first one was called Maya. Then this water is being steamed through this plant material again, and at the end then we have it cooling down and gathered in big glass containers. This is how we get rose water, a rose floral water, or a hydrosol. And on top of this cooled steam, or rose water in this case, you have a very, very small, minute amount of pure essential oil, which is not oil as we know it. It's not a fatty oil, it's really an extract. And in this essential oil, which is the oil that's essential to the plant for its survival, in this essential oil we have all these fantastic plant chemicals, and the rose has one of the highest amount of plant chemicals known, where many of them, several hundred of them, are even unknown to us to this day. It is a potent oil, and if you'd like to just picture having a bath, there's a little tip I love telling friends or customers about, is if you really want to indulge yourself, buy yourself 1 milliliter of pure rose oil, or have someone gift it to you. It would probably sell for around €30. It's about 25 drops in that tiny little bottle. And then get some organic fresh cream, not whipped but liquid, and have half a tub of that fresh cream, and just put 1 drop of pure essential oil of rose into that cream and disperse it in your bath, and enjoy a bath that a Cleopatra would have taken. You can also get organic rose petals, or if you have your own roses in the garden that are unsprayed and untreated, you can take the petals and just, even have them floating on top of your bath as well. So that's just a little tip. But now we're coming to this beautiful Atlantic Aromatics organic rose water that I've brought. I love toners, I love toning pretty much every day. It just is such a lovely way of hydrating the skin. And I always tone with organic floral waters. Some brands have toners that are a blend of floral waters, but I often just go back to just a plain organic rose water, or maybe lavender water. Chamomile water is beautiful. There's so many of them out there, and they are all a byproduct of steam distillation in the essential oil extraction process. Rose is also, of course, used a lot by the perfume industry, and the way it is extracted there, mostly from conventional farming, I was stuck for a word there, is through also steam distillation. But to get more and make it easier to transport, it can be extracted also by the use of hexane gas. And this extraction, which is also used in jasmine flowers, leaves a concrete, it's called. It's basically a waxy block that can be easily shipped and then dissolved with alcohol to be used in the perfume industry. So therefore, I think it is important to know that the extraction method that was used, reputable companies make sure that if they do hexane gas extraction, it will say on the label that the product itself was tested for any residue of hexane to make sure there is none of hexane gas left, which is a chemical, of course. So again, back to the Atlantic rose water. I have brought this one with me for the journey because rose is also so super disinfectant, refreshing, balancing for the skin. And in countries like the Middle East, whether it's Turkey or Egypt or Persia or any of those countries, it is often given as a welcome gift, if you like. You would spread your hands to be poured some rose water into your hands. It has, of course, a very beautiful calming effect, but it also is a disinfectant. So by greeting people into your home, you basically are having your hands disinfected with rose water. So if you ever smelled Damascena rose, it is so different to the synthetic roses that maybe from shampoos or from soaps that are really cheap. That's usually a very cheap synthetic smell. The real Rosa Damascena scent, I invite you to go to your local health store and ask to smell it, because it is different. So all I do with this rose water, and I brought the small bottle handy for transport, is just spray it all around my face and even the hair and the neck, and then I gently just, you can just roll it in if you wish, or you can just let it dry naturally. And if you now use your face cream on top, it will also save you on face cream, because the floral waters are just very hydrating, and with face cream then you need less to spread or to moisturize your face for the day. And this rose water in particular is absolutely gorgeous, I must say. When I first tested it, and I have often used the Turkish rose water. I have stocked the Atlantic one for several years, but I actually never, truth be told, have used it, or not very often anyhow. And I must say it is absolutely beautiful. I love it. The smell of it is so balanced. It's just so harmonious, soft, and I can really smell it all day and every day. I absolutely adore it. So I really, if there is a 10 out of 10, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. Honestly, super, super product. It retails in the 100 ml bottle. Oh, now I'm stuck now, but don't quote me on it. It is a very, very reasonable. Maybe it's a 50 ml bottle. I can't be sure right now, but it is so, so reasonable. Rose water in comparison to pure rose oil, being an abundant byproduct of the rose essential oil production, is worthwhile investment. So go for organic. If you look up Atlantic Aromatics, they're a beautiful company based in Wicklow, County Wicklow in Ireland, and feel free to drop me a line, comment, and go test it. Bring it with you. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. Full marks for Atlantic Aromatics. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Watch out for the next product review of the products that I have with me while traveling and beyond. And thank you very much for joining me. Have a really good day. Bye for now.